Hello, and welcome back to the Solomen podcast. This is Season 1, Episode 5. I'm one of your hosts, Gabe, and this is my other host,
Daniel.
We're going to go find out what Mr. Solomen's going to give us for the topic today. See you in a minute. Hi, Mr. Solomen. How are you today?
I'm doing all right, Gabe. How are you?
Pretty good. Do you have a topic for us?
I do. Does a bigger Adam's apple make a man more of a man?
Okay, thank you. Hi, Garrett.
Hi.
How big is your Adam's apple? On a scale of 1 to 10.
I don't know.
Let me look at it. That is a size 4. So, do you think the size of your Adam's apple makes you more or less of a man?
This doesn't make sense.
Only men have Adam's apple, okay? Does the size of it change how manly you are?
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll see how you are at the end of the episode. Jason, how would you rank your Adam's apple on a scale of 1 to 10?
I've never seen my Adam's apple.
You've never looked in a mirror and looked at your neck.
I never really thought about it.
Can you bring the camera over, Daniel? Okay, so we're gonna show you what your Adam's apple looks like. Hold on. Tilt your head back. Flex your Adam's apple. Ready? 3, 2. You got it? Okay. We're pulling up the picture, showing it to Jason. That is your Adam's apple.
I did not know what that was.
Alright, are you happy with it?
Actually, it looks pretty cute.
Yeah, I think so too. How would you rate your Adam's apple on a scale of 1 to 10 in size?
Oh, I think it's easy 10.
Okay, so do you think the size of your Adam's apple makes you more or less of a man?
Well, if I'm looking at Garrett, he's a smaller Adam's apple, so I think yeah.
Yeah, so Garrett's less of a man than Jason. Okay, let's see the freshman's Adam's apple. Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Gabe.
How would you rate your Adam's apple on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'll give it a solid 8.5.
I think that looks more like a 5, but how do you think the size of an Adam's apple makes you more or less of a man?
I don't know. I feel like a bigger one will make you look more intimidating to other less sizable men. So I guess it does make you a little bit more manly.
Okay, thank you. How would you rate your Adam's apple?
To be honest, I didn't even know I had one until you guys were talking about it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Mr. Solomen, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the size of your Adam's apple?
I would give it like a 9.
Okay. Are you happy with that rating?
I am. I think it's pretty solid.
Do you think the size of your Adam's apple determines how more or less of a man you are?
Yes.
Okay. So Jason's was rated higher than yours. I guess you didn't rate his, so it's biased, but do you think he's more manly than you?
No. But he is entitled to his opinion, and his Adam's apple is pretty solid, so I can't complain there.
Garrett is a lot smaller Adam's apple than you. Is he less manly than you?
He's not less manly than me, but maybe he's less manly than Jason. That might be the question. That might be the issue.
Okay, thank you. So Garrett, based off of your bad Adam's apple reading, how manly are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
11.
Are you sure about that? Because your Adam's apple is pretty small.
Everybody else is a liar.
I don't think so. Jason, how would you rate Garrett's manliness?
I'll give him a 6.
I'm telling you, I'm an 11.
I don't know. Jason, what would you rate yourself?
Oh, a solid 12.
I believe that one. Okay. Joe, as a freshman, you aren't quite a man yet, but how would you rate your manliness?
On what, like, scale? Like, of how, like, strong you are, how smart you are, how good looking you are? I mean, like, what's, the aspect we're looking at here?
Just everything.
Okay, so everything, I'd rate myself, probably a 7 out of 10.
Just out of questionality, how would you rate the deepness of your voice, with 1 as the deepest and 10 as the squeakiest?
Like a 4.
Do you think that's due to the size of your Adam's apple?
I've got no clue.
Okay, thank you. How would you rate your manliness?
I'll say it breaks the scale,
Like, by how much?
but like a lot.
Okay, thank you. So, Daniel, how big is your Adam's apple on a scale of 1 to 10?
4.
Okay. I'd say mine is a solid 8. I don't know. What would you give me?
8.
Good. Okay. How manly would you say you are?
6.
What about me?
7.
Okay. Do you think manliness correlates with Adam's apple size?
Possibly.
Okay, so do you think Garrett is less manly than Jason and Mr. Solomon?
Yes.
I thought so too. What about Joe the freshman? He has an excuse because he's a freshman. Do you think he's less manly than even Garrett?
Yes.
Okay. Should we ask someone about what the Adam's apple is for?
Yes.
Biology expert time. We're here with the biology expert again. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
What is the Adam's apple for?
Ooh. The Adam's apple encloses the voice box.
Okay.
It's also called the laryngeal prominence. And guys are bigger because the hormones that they have during puberty makes that voice box or that Adam's apple grow bigger. And so it makes it bigger. The vocal cords get thicker and longer, and that's what drops their voice.
Okay, thank you. So, I think that the Adam's apple size does partially correlate with the manliness spectrum.
Yes.
Yeah, so do you have any insight?
It definitely does, because as she said, it comes with hormones in boys, and if you have more hormones, you're more manly.
I suppose so. This episode of the Solomen podcast was brought to us by Joe's Mom's Chili. Joe's Mom's Chili is something that you'll probably never taste, but according to Joe, it's delicious.
My mom's chili is the best.
She doesn't cut her hand on chili. Season 1, episode 1. So I'm here with the producer, Jimmy, and I wonder how manly he thinks he is based off his Adam apple.
Pretty manly.
What size is your Adam's apple on a scale of 1 to 10?
5.
5. How manly are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Very.
Okay, so Daniel said his Adam's apple is a 4. Yours is a 5. They look very similar. Is one bigger than the other, actually?
Yeah, you just have to look closer.
Okay. How manly am I on a scale of 1 to 10?
Less.
Like a 9?
Less than me.
You're like a 10, right?
15.
So am I a 14?
12.
Okay, I'll take that. It's above a 10. Well, thank you, Jimmy. We'll see you next time. So, Adam's apples. Pretty interesting.
Yep.
So they grow with hormones during puberty,
Yep.
and they affect the way the voice sounds in males.
Indeed.
Do you have anything to say about Adam's apples?
I guess they kind of add to your manliness.
Do you think they look intimidating? Like a big one?
I mean, it depends on the person. There can be like a really skinny person who has like a huge Adam's apple, but then there could also be like a really big muscular dude who doesn't have one, and then the muscular dude would still look scarier.
That's true, yeah. But would the muscular dude be more manly than the skinny dude with the Adam's apple?
I would say so, yeah.
So it depends on the rest of the appearance and behavior of the man.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So we can use the Adam's apple to see how manly someone is, but it's not the only thing that we can use.
Yep.
All right. We should get an expert on the show. His name's Joe. Not the Joe that you normally see, but this Joe has a brother named Adam. And we want to see how Adam's apple is. See you in a minute. Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
So, we heard that you have a brother named Adam. Is this true?
Yes.
How big is his apple?
What kind of apple?
His Adam's apple.
I don't really pay attention to it.
So it's not noticeably large.
I don't think he has an abnormally large Adam's apple.
So Adam's apple is average size. How manly is Adam?
Very.
So he's not averagely manly, but Adam's apple is average.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Wow, that's pretty interesting. We might have to have Joe back on the podcast sometime.
Yep.
Thank you all for listening to this podcast. This is the end of season 1, episode 5. We'll see you all next time. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.